Yo, welcome to the Daily B Show with Matty B, episode 33 with Christopher Duncan on today. So, Chris and I have just met each other not long ago. I went to one of Chris's live presentations about maybe 6 months ago. I had no money, I couldn't afford it, but I knew what he was teaching was something that I wanted to learn in the sense of I knew I had a story to tell, and I knew that the magic was within our pain, but I didn't know how to communicate that. And he's been instrumental in helping me get out there and do what I do. So really excited to have a chat with him and share his awesomeness with you guys. Speak of the devil. Bring him on. Hey, Raz, Renee, Chris, jumping on. Look at this beautiful backdrop, eh? So I'm just down at Rick Shaw's down in Burleigh Heads. Here
Did it work?
He is.
Yo.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Ha.
Right.
I'm just glad I got this to work, hey?
Oh man, it's the Lydia Sugarman I had on earlier today. We tried on Monday and we tried again today. Literally took about 15 attempts. So you're one of the best. You maybe made a record of jumping on. It's the Daily B Show has actually turned into the technical difficulty show from time to time. So it's,
right, I get
it's
that.
good you rolled the punches though.
Done it, man. We had good instruction from you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for hanging out though and joining me and coming on and have a chat to introduce yourself and what you're doing and share your wisdom and knowledge with everyone as well. It's really awesome.
Yeah, man, you're welcome. And I just want to kind of just say thanks, to see someone like yourself get out there and take such action and be pushing and moving, and the amount of videos and lives you've done in such a short time. I think anyone following you is feeling the inspiration. Leaders go first, and I'm proud to say you're a leader, and it's great to be here to support your show and what you're doing, man. So, massive props. I hope everyone out there is following you and buying your coaching and doing everything else.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And they're all coming on board. It has been epic, like a whirlwind of a journey for the last few months. And the biggest thing I've noticed is that those insecurities that I used to feel about putting myself out there and all these self-doubts, when I start to get a little bit of proof and just a tiny little bit of how much me being vulnerable is helping people, it just washes away. That they just go, because it's not about me anymore. So that's been the biggest shift I found.
Yeah, cool. Nice, man. And I think it is so crucial, because we see ourselves in other people, and for you to do that, you're making a massive difference. And the flip, when an entrepreneur flips to service and says, you know what, I don't care about what I'm going to do. I'm going to serve, and I'm going to serve in a big way. And if they're open to receiving the financial rewards of that service, things happen so fast, man, so fast. So anyway, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this chat. I'm excited to everybody that's listening. So cool, let's go.
Let's rock and roll. So first of all, who is Christopher Duncan? Where's he from and what's he do? Let people know that don't know who you already are. There shouldn't be too many out there anymore.
If they don't know who I am, I'm sorry about that. I'll do my best to try to get my message out there even more so that you do know who I am. For me, I'm just an ordinary guy from New Zealand that happened to stumble his way into some success, and I'm on a massive journey and got a lot to go. So, we're currently building the leading speaker and human transformation company. Our goal is to touch over 50 million people in the next few years, and we're on a good track to get there. We really are. And so, spoken to 130,000 people in, I guess, 12 or 13 countries. Got a few best-selling books and a movie with Tony Robbins, the Dalai Lama, and bloody proud to say all those things, because where I started was not there. Where I started, Matt, was standing in a Tony Robbins event with nothing, looking up at him going, man, that's what I want to do. And I think for a lot of people that follow you, this would be similar to them. They followed the normal path. Went to university, got the degree, got the job, was, drinking on the weekends. I played international sport for New Zealand. Like I did stuff that you're supposed to do, but I wasn't happy. So I found myself at this rock concert of a personal development seminar, and I found who I wanted to be. I wanted to be a speaker. I'd never seen anyone impact so many people's lives and make such a difference. And it was a huge thing, when you finally go, you know what, that's who I want to be. And I'm proud to say that that's what I ended up doing. So the journey from then to now has been a journey of self-discovery, a journey of learning, a journey of taking massive action, a journey of making millions, losing millions, making it all back, bad decisions, good decisions. Lived in 6 countries in the last 8 years, and pleased to say that I'm now here on the Gold Coast, just down the road from you. So, mate, it's exciting. But I think the biggest thing about the story for me is what's coming next. You know, we currently are focused on helping a million people become speakers. We're helping people to get out there and change the world, and that's our big focus. So that's it, brother.
100%. Well, I'm glad to be one of them.
You are, and you're an absolute legend. You know, for anyone watching, there's not that many people like Matt, you know, that grab something, take action, and make it happen. And you know, you're scrappy, man, and I love it. You make it happen. You go all out, and it's you know, props to you, dude, because it's you know, it's the first step on the entrepreneur path, is to get that message to market match, and then everything else. And it's a beautiful path to be on, man. And you know what I like about you even more is that it always looks like you're enjoying the journey. You know, because I think a lot of people forget that, you know, the goalpost, if you're just waiting for the goalpost, you keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I know I did. So, you know, you're much smarter than me, brother, when it comes to that.
Well, man, I learn from people like you. So I try not to make the same mistakes twice myself. And then, I mean, I'll make them more than twice. But I guess that brings up my first question, right, is that I was talking about fractals today with another client. And how do you, from where you are now and the success, you've lost it and you've gained it, and where you are now, relate to where the starting point for where a lot of people are, and how is that relationship sort of intertwined from your experience now?
From where I was to where I am now, it doesn't seem like the same guy. It doesn't seem like a fractal. It seems like that timeline stopped existing. And at some point I shifted timeline to something completely different, you know? And that's one of the hardest things to do. I talked this with someone earlier today, and I was saying, you know, when I got a $5 million company now, when I didn't have a company that was doing that level of money, I was different. And the one thing that was really big is I'd spent 30 years reinforcing a way of being. And I had to actually stop reinforcing that I don't have enough, that I'm not good enough, that I can't take time off, that I'm not rich. I had to stop reinforcing that to actually make the shift.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if it's a fractal.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's their goal as well. And so you were talking about the placebo before we jumped on. For me, that was a pretty profound moment and lesson when I first heard you speak about that in that first event that I came to up in Brisbane. Can you share that insight with the viewers as well? Because I think that's imperative.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it's good to understand this. So the saying is everything's a placebo. And if you don't know what a placebo is an inert substance that when taken, creates the change that it's said that it creates. And the story goes that in World War II, there was a surgeon, and he'd run out of morphine. And so he doesn't know what to do. He's got all these soldiers coming in. He has to amputate limbs. So imagine there's no morphine. So he takes the morphine drip, keeps the label on it, keeps the drip, doesn't tell the nurse, doesn't tell the patient. He puts salt water or saline in it, and then literally injects it to people, and is able to amputate limbs and do all sorts of stuff. And so, you know, the idea of the placebo really started to take off. And so now any drug that you ever take, whatever you think about pharmaceuticals, they're all tested against placebos because they work. But here's what's even more interesting, is that they found that they could change the rate of the way the placebo would work based on who gave the placebo, whether it was a white pill, a blue pill, you know, what letters it had on it, and all sorts of things. And so here's what I believe is life is a placebo. Life is a placebo. Life is what you make it. And this is a really interesting thing because it's not what you consciously believe. And I think the law of attraction and manifestation principles are some of the most misleading and misguided things that are out there, to be honest with you, because it's not what you consciously walk around chanting to yourself that's going to manifest. It's who you are. And I'm writing a book at the moment, Matt. I didn't actually tell you this, which is when you be it, you will see it. And that's because everything is a placebo. And to understand that is huge, is that it's absolutely impossible to, you know, to not feel good enough, in life to say, I'm going to create this level of money or this level of success, and then I'll be good enough. That's an impossibility. You'll get caught in the wrong tension structure. So that's what I mean, is that basically in life, everything is a placebo. You will get what you believe.
it is literally the Matrix where Neo is jumping over the building, and it's like, it's not until he just knows that there's no way that it can't be done, that it is so ingrained, like as clear as it is that you and me are speaking right now, that starts to happen.
It's a good movie. Yeah, the bit I love the most is, remember when he gets shot with bullets at the beginning, and the first thing he does is he like dodges it like crazy. Do you remember that bit? But then so he's like, wow, cool. I can actually, my belief is I can slow down time and I can dodge it. But then at the end, he just gets a new belief and he's like, no, I don't even believe in these bullets. Stop, drop, you know? And he just stops and freezes them in the air and drops it. And it was all just him changing his belief. And it's a really important metaphor, because a lot of people are walking around there in society. Money is hard to make, I can't have this, I can't have that. And even some of their actions are showing up that way, like they walk into a bar and, they look at the menu and they scan to see which one they can afford. Well, that's an unconscious reinforcement of, I don't have the money, I don't have it. So it's a big thing, man. And it's not a small topic at all, but I do believe it, No,
100%. It's not a small topic, but it's a good scratch at the surface. So let's chat about what you did bring up. I sort of saw it as the ego backlash, which was a new concept for me. But this structural pullback that you called it?
The structural tension, yeah.
Structural tension,
yeah. It's a really good concept actually for anyone that really wants to create and manifest in their life, which I think is most of the people listening to you. And so the idea is, I've got a rubber band sitting right here, is if you pull a rubber band, tension seeks resolution, it seeks release, right? So here there's no tension, you create tension, it seeks resolution. And so in life we have structures, and so we create the structure. We say, well, I'm here and I want to be here, right? Now one of those two ends are going to have to move, right? Either this end is going to have to come back here, or this end's going to have to go here. Typically what happens is we lower our goals, this one comes in, and we move a little bit forward, and then we typically just do this. This is typically our life. It's like oscillation. And the reason why that happens is structural. And not enough people are talking about this. Like, you can have a positive mental attitude. You can be taking action. You can surround yourself with the right people. You can do all those things. But honestly, if you don't have the right structure, you're not going to get there. For example, if you have a structure where, I'm broke and I'm going to start a business to make money, and then I'm going to feel good. That's never going to work, or I don't like this, I'm going to do this, or I'm lonely, so I'm going to get a relationship so that I can feel love. And because that structure won't work. You reinforce this for so long, what happens is as it starts moving, the structure never lets you get there, because you'd have to kill your identity. And not enough people are looking at the structures in their life. I mean, seriously, dude, it's big. It's big, but you don't see a book on structure, do you? Well, there is one. It's called The Path of Least Resistance, but there's not that many books on it. And consider this. Someone says, I want to make $1 million. Well, okay, great. How are you going to do that? I'm going to sell my time. You're never going to get to $1 million a year selling your time. Or I want to have a great relationship, but my partner's not willing to do personal growth. Or I want to lose weight, but I don't like exercise. Like, the structures aren't going to actually work, No. So that's what I mean by structural tension, is that there's other laws in the universe that we don't look at enough when it comes to creating and manifesting what we want. And I've got a story around it, if you like. I love it. It's important. Yeah, I think this, 2 years ago, my best friend was killed in a motorcycle accident. My business fell apart. I went from $4.5 million to $300,000 something in debt, and it sucked big time. But the thing I don't talk about often is that for the year that followed that, I kept on creating relationships and partnerships that lost me money. So I was furious when that happened. And so I went out and I created $750,000 in revenue, I think, in 3 months. And then that business partner didn't give me a cent and ripped me off. And so then I was stuffed again within 3 months of that happening. So I started again. I went and built it. And I built up to a 1.6 or something like that. And then that business partner decided he no longer wanted to work with me, and that was it, done. And so there was this structure that I hadn't dealt with, man. I was successful, I was capable, I had the right mindset, and I had to look at the structure, man, and go, how is it true that I keep on creating the same structure where I make the money with a business partner and then it somehow falls apart? How am I able to do that consistently? And so I had to start to look at these structures that are playing out. And here's the truth, man, is I was the basketball star for my dad. You know, growing up, I played basketball for New Zealand. So my structure was to find somebody, be the staff of them, and then give it up. And I had this structure ingrained in me, bro. And it wasn't that I didn't have an inner child that I needed to heal. I didn't have any of these things that you're told. It was literally, it was a structure that's in me, which is really, really unique. And now when I work with people, the first thing is I look is what are the undercurrents? You know, like you can say, I'm going to go that way. That's going to be easy to swim, but are you swimming upstream against a current that doesn't want you to achieve because you've got this negative tension? So anyway, that's what I mean by structures. Yeah.
So on a tangible, practical level for people that are watching, what steps or advice would you give them to start even just being aware and observing and being able to identify the structures that they've got within their life to start with?
Well, great question. The most important thing is to understand whether you have a true vision or not. And what I mean by that is most people understand the idea of setting a vision or setting a goal. So the first step in goal setting is, hey, I want to have this thing, right? The second step is I want to have this thing and it's going to feel like this. I'm going to experience it. The third step in goal setting is instead of saying, I want this thing because I don't want that, is just to go over here. Okay, and that's the third step. And most people stop there. They say, hey, I don't want to not have a job. I want to have success. But none of those work. There's a fourth step. Yeah, there's a fourth one. And the fourth one is when you have everything you need right now, and what you're asking for is going to give you even more of it.
Yes.
And that one can work. Yes. However, there's an even faster one, which is when you finally put down that one wound that's been causing all your motivation, all your inspiration, but also all of your pain for your whole life, and you stop trying to solve that wound. For example, I'm not good enough, I'm invisible, I'm unloved, I'm powerless, I'm not capable, I don't know enough. When you finally stop trying to do things to solve the fact that you don't feel good enough or not smart enough or that you don't belong, when you stop setting goals to solve that, then everything's easy. That's where the magic is. But most people, even when I look at them and say, well, what do you want to do? They say, I want to make $1 million. Why? Well, because, you know, I want to do this and this and this. Well, why? Because, and it comes down to, well, then finally I'll prove to these people that I'm good enough, or it'll be this, or I'll feel like I belong. And it's like when you finally put that down. So your question, my response would be, is to look at all of your goals. You know, look at all your goals. So we'll do it with you in a second, but to look at all your goals and then go, okay, out of all of these goals, are any of them pure? Or are they all there to resolve a way that I feel incomplete? So tell me a goal. Tell me a goal. What's a goal you have?
A goal that I have would be to get a sponsor for the show.
Get a sponsor for the show. Okay, great. And so you'd like to get a sponsor for the show. Awesome. And so what is the main outcome of having the sponsor for the show? What's that going to do for you?
It is going to provide another set of income, another income stream. So I can essentially have time to continue to create and deliver content and value.
Yeah, good. So those are all great reasons, and that's a great goal. Okay. And so it's an awesome goal. I want to sponsor because of this. And so now I would say to you, okay, great. So if there was another way or another option to create that same thing, are you open to it? And you'd say yes. And so the interesting thing is for us to just get what it is we truly want. So now I'd say, okay, cool. So what is it that you truly want? What is that helping you get to? What do you actually truly desire from all of that?
And an outlet to express myself.
An outlet. Now we're starting to get to it. And so now I can see is why would someone need an outlet to express themselves? Okay. And we don't have to keep going, but we would keep on going until we'd realize that that is possibly, maybe not, but possibly set from a place of no one's listening to me, or I'm insignificant, or I'm powerless, so I'm going to create this thing so that people listen to me. Now, we haven't gone far enough to ascertain it, but, you know, you ask the question, and that's how I would do it. And so I would look at everyone's goals first and go, well, what's a true goal? You know, and a true goal is something that a kid would say, you know, what's your true goal? To be completely fucking happy, you know, just to be completely happy. What's a true goal? Just to enjoy every single day, you know. And when you start going back into those true goals and you get that, that's where the magic is, man. And that's where the manifestation happens. Most goal setting is like the slowest slow track. Does that make sense? Because most goal setting is structured in a rule that they have to hit this to hit this. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
And so the rule that I'm seeing in there is, hey, I need to get sponsorship so I can get time to get this, so then I have an outlet. You see, do you see the rule structures? Do you see how slow that is? And then the outlet's going to allow me to da-da-da-da-da. And so your manifestation, bro, even if you're a brilliant manifester, you have to go through this, and then this, and then this. Like you've set up a slow track. And so that's why I do it fast track business. Is I say, look, great. Let's first just go, what do you really want? And a lot of people tell me this. They say, you know what, I want to do something really good with my life. I want to enjoy every single day. I want to have lots of love and good people around me. I want to feel awesome. I want to feel inspired. I go, awesome. Well, let's just manifest that and see what shows up. And that, when we get into that, we get into that vortex. That's when I see the magic happening, bro. But there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. That's like the slither on the top of the primer coat of the surface of the intro level.
100%. Yeah.
But did that make sense? Did you get it?
Yeah, it does. You know, it does. And one of the things that came up was the 6 primal needs. I think Anthony Robbins teaches that as well. It's like, I see them. Yeah, I see the wormhole that goes down into that need for significance, that need for variety, that need for growth and contribution as well. That is sort of being met there. Is that the wormhole that essentially those true needs, those true goals stem from?
You know, I love Tony, man. He changed my life. You know, yeah, absolutely, absolutely changed my life. And I loved his need structure. It's a great model, and it doesn't. There's 2 worlds. There's a world of creators, and then there's a world of problem solvers. And so the world of problem solvers is the world that we're brought up in. Hey, you have this problem, you got to solve it. Okay, so I don't have enough money, so I have to do something about it. And that's like the slowest way of manifestation. And Matt, when I hung out with billionaires over in the States, and I was lucky enough to be in a room with 13 of the richest families in all of Austin, Texas, and they're super, super rich. None of them were problem solvers, if that makes sense. They didn't create by solving problems. They created because they were just creating, because it was the joy in creating. And so the joy, and so think about this, when an artist paints, when a songwriter creates a song, that's pure human creation, man. And that's when people are creating. But they're not doing it because they need freaking certainty or variety. That it's like, put that down and join this other world. But I feel as though we walk out there into society. Society is born of the need of problem solving, and it's the slow track, man. Like even your little track there, and I know I'm picking on you a little bit, but I love you.
No, that's all right.
It's just a slow. It's a slow track. You're saying, well, I've got this problem, so I've got to do this. So I've got this problem, I've got to do this. And so you're in a problem solution. Tension structure, problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. But the truth is, you just want to create this thing here. You've just got this rule structure that says you have to go this way. And so the other way is here. And so I love Tony, man. He was the perfect guy for me at the perfect time. And I feel as though my message has evolved from his beginnings into saying, let's all be creators, man. You follow it?
100%. I'm following, yeah, absolutely. And so with goal setting then, because it is so heavily leaned on in so many circles. But one thing that I found myself talking about was the processionary effect, where it's important to sort of have that end, start with the end in mind, but then be completely open to, like you said, anything coming up from any angle. And really the only purpose that we have is to be ourselves, express ourselves, and create in every moment.
Cool.
But what's the importance with goals? Is there still, like, what's the connection and the importance to goal setting, if any, from your perspective now?
The biggest thing is kind of getting to that top level where you're not trying to resolve a way you feel inadequate. That's super important. The second is to feel the emotion of what you want to create now. You know, feel that now, because you will never change by getting something external. And so it's very difficult for even us trained in goal setting to actually set a creative goal. Most of us set goals to solve problems. Most of us say, I want $100,000 because I don't have it. I want a car because my car's broken. I want a new house because my one sucks. Not many of us just are willing to just create, you know, and just go there. So that's the first thing, is just get into a pure creativeness. Second is feel the feeling of the end result. And then the third thing is to understand that everything's created twice. So it's first created internally, and you've got to really create it internally. But then there's action to take. And so I always give the example of a seed. You know, you can go grab a seed of any tree out there and you could bash it, open it up, and you'll see nothing. And however, inside of that, you know, that seed or around it is all the instructions for that tree. And do you follow the magic in that, bro? It's this tiny seed has all the intelligence is there, not just for one tree, but for a freaking forest. You know, it's all there. All the intelligence is there, and we're that seed as well. But the interesting thing is that, yeah, great, cool, that you've created the picture of the tree. Here's what humans get to do. We get to choose which tree we're creating. You know, we get to change. This is a problem for us because we continually change that vision, or we set a negative vision, which is just to solve a problem instead of just to create something that we want. So that's the thing to really understand, is that there is action to take as well. So if I break it down into steps, it's get a real, true creative vision, feel the feeling of that end result, understand that it's created twice, and then lastly, know that there's action to take but nothing to do.
It's beautiful. I love it. I'm going to go do that right now.
You should.
I do.
You should.
100%. So, mate, again, thank you so much for hanging out and always dropping some amazing nuggets. I love just soaking up what you've got. I'm going to come up and to amplify at the start of next year to reset that again. So looking forward to that, catching up.
You should.
And
you should.
Can you share with people a little bit about what you're doing to change the world with to reaching out and exactly what you and Harriet are up to, and the impact you're having, and where they can reach you and find you guys and how to work with you as well?
Yeah, you know, Matt, you're such a humble guy. I think the first thing to say to everybody following this is that, you know, you got to have a coach. And, you know, Matt's one of the best that I've seen. He cares, he takes massive action, and he does it. And so it doesn't matter how far along you are on your path. You can't coach yourself. And a lot of times we get to these points where maybe we've done some courses, or we've done some things, and we've read some books, and we've had some awakenings, and we stop. The truth is, though, is you can never see your own stuff. You know, my dog agrees, obviously, by the nature of blind spots, you can't see your own blind spot, you know.
100%.
And so you got to have a coach. So my first thing I want to say is, you know, Matt joined my speaker training program, and he takes massive action, and all of you should, if you don't have a coach, reach out to Matt. I hear he's got an amazing special offer on at the moment, which is really exciting. You know,
40%
for me,
off for anyone that jumps on.
How much?
40% off for anyone at the moment that jumps on before the start of the year. I want 10 people by the start of the year to be joining me. So I've just put that out 2 days ago. I've got 3 on board so far, so 7 spots left, guys. So yeah, just
that's massive. 40% off.
Merry Christmas.
Dude, pretty much giving it away. That's awesome. And so, you know, for us, we have a mindset certification program where we certify you to be a mindset coach. We have a millionaire mindset training program. We have a speaker training program. We have a digital marketing certification. We have marketing programs, and most of all, our goal is to create as many happy humans as possible. So, you know, connect with me here on social media, follow Matt, ask me questions, and if you want to get some extra training after you do stuff with Matt, then I'll see you at one of my events, and they will be they'll be one of those ones that you get to tell everyone about, because we've spent best part of a decade and a half mastering how to do it really well. So, you know, thank you so much for having me on, dude, and hounding me to get on this call. I wouldn't get on a call with everybody. And the reason that I decided to get on for you was just how much action and how you live your truth, man, and you live everything you tell others to do. So everyone following you is they've got a good leader to follow, man. And I mean it.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Cool. Thank you for jumping on. And yeah, it does mean a lot to have, you know, someone that you've been working with and someone that you've been learning from be able to come on and share this experience and just sort of, yeah, pass that on to the people that I've been working with, and just to reaffirm a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. And so it's yeah, it's my pleasure. And you finally hit the pinnacle of your career, mate, on the Daily B show today. So congratulations with that as well.
That's it. You have to get me a logo. I'll put it next to Forbes and Huffington Post and Entrepreneur Magazine, Daily B. Do it. I'll do it.
That's so good. All right, mate. Have a really Merry Christmas if I don't see you guys beforehand. Send my love to Harriet, and I'm looking forward to catching up with the new year, if not before then.
See you, man.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Enjoy. See you, mate. Bye.